Please click the subscribe button and the notification icon. It will help us a lot.
I think those things are very subjective, and I think that's a big part of say, okay, well, put it this way, say for me, if I'm directing a project, I think it's very important for me that I cast the crew for a lot of different reasons. Mostly because I want to choose everybody in the crew who's better at me than everything that I do. You know what I mean? So I want someone on the crew who's better at me than everything in every department, right? And because of that, I want to be very hands-on when it comes to recruiting people, when it comes to finding who are the right people for this project. Because also, I mean, for me, every project is as much about the crew working on it as it is about whatever's on screen. So because of that, I also feel that if I do bring in someone who is a little bit nuts or rubs the rest of the crew the wrong way, then I also take that as my responsibility because I brought them in. If I brought them in, if someone else has brought them in, then maybe it's not as much my responsibility. If someone else, again, if someone else vouches for this person, like we were just talking about, and says, I want to work with this person, and then they turn out to be very hard for us, the crew, to work with, then that's, I take it that the person who vouched for them, that's their issue to figure out. But in terms of dealing with those people, there's no tips, because I think these things are subjective. And but what I mean by that is someone that you or I couldn't work with because of conflict between us, the next person could work with very easily. I think some people are incredibly hard to work with all the time, and that's something that they bring upon themselves just by their own personality. But for instance, I know there's people who I've taken on crews that I've put together, where I've been warned maybe by other people who've worked with them before and told me that this person is a little bit like this or a little bit like that, and I've taken the plunge anyway because I like them or because whatever, and it's always worked out. I've never had a problem with someone like that, because if they do start rubbing people the wrong way, I'll take them aside and have a chat with them, explain what the problems are, explain why they're part of the crew, and explain the kind of problems that people have with them. And I think there is no tip to dealing with someone like this. I think it's all about people skills. It's all about being very honest with the people that you work with, and trusting the people you work with. So the fact that if you brought this person onto your crew, they're obviously there for a reason. If other people are being offended or whatever by this person, there's also a reason for that. So you need to be able to talk to them on a certain level and make them understand what the problem is. And if they can't then deal with that, that's a different thing. Because if they can't be part of a team, then they can't be part of a team. I mean, it's kind of as simple as that, you know. Some people, it's a very hard industry in terms of what we do, because we're a bunch of artists who all have very strong personalities, and you need a strong personality, I think, to be a good artist and to have a strong opinion about things. So we get all these people with very strong opinions in one place, and then we tell them all, okay, walk in the same direction, you know, tick off your boxes, come in at 9, finish at 6, you know, all those kind of things, and like stick to a deadline. And we ask them to do very ordered things all together in a group. And I think it's a very hard thing to take creative people and put them in an office atmosphere, you know what I mean? So I would be much more surprised if this didn't happen more often. I think it does happen often, and I think it's just more about making sure that, I mean, again, because if this person who other people in the crew feel is a bit crazy for whatever reason, maybe when you talk to them about it, maybe it's actually because they're quite insecure, and the reason they're lashing out at people is because of that. And if you talk to them about it, maybe that will solve the situation. So I would say that it's all about making sure that everybody knows they're part of the same team, and if it is at a point where they can't be part of a team, then taking them out of it, because you can't let the rest of your team suffer for that one person either.